It is unlikely that you are currently surrounded by the people that are going to help you get to where you aspire to be. Whether that's to be wealthy, to own a business, to be an elite athlete, or anything else you want to be. You need to replace these friends with people who are on the path farther ahead of you. That's what this video is about. You likely have bad friends. Friends that are jealous, envious, or compare themselves to you. Now, it might not seem like it yet, but once you start being more successful than they are or farther ahead than they are, these tendencies then start to leak out, and they can come in short little quips that are meant to undermine you or insult you, and they'll brush it off like, oh, yeah, I was just kidding. But it's these small micro infractions that build up over time, and they're passively aggressively taking out their flaws on you. To paraphrase Alex Hormozy, people don't want the best for you. People want the best version of you that best suits them. This holds true and is why in many cases when you do want to grow, your friend group and the people surrounding you will also need to grow. But this takes time and may be lonely. To that I say good. You'll have more time to pursue yourself and your goals and read, thus leading you into the new direction of a different friend group and those that are going to help you along the path. Use your friends as stepping stones to help you along the way, to grow, to learn from, and then continue moving on. Jordan Peterson talks about how when you read, you pick your peers. I find this to also be true, and it leads into my next point. Pick your peers or read from authors that are your role models. For me, when I want to learn about business, I will read and consume Alex Hormozy or Gary Vee. And then once I'm done reading their books, then I continue consuming their content on different social media platforms or their podcasts or whatever else they post. I continue to consume their content because we are the sum total of the things surrounding us and what we consume. Then I want to consume a good bit of their content and their material because business is an aspect that I want to grow and develop into in my life. When I want to consume stoicism or philosophy, then I will consume and read authors like Ryan Holiday or Marcus Aurelius. Ryan Holiday has a podcast he posts on YouTube. He's got multiple books, which I've enjoyed thoroughly. And Marcus Aurelius has left behind his meditations, which are like the Stoicism Bible in a way, where you can just continue to look back and gain lessons and continue to develop new ideas from his diary to himself, essentially. Picking my peers in this way has led me to a lot of learning and different perspective shifts that I wouldn't have known if I hadn't been following these particular authors or content creators. This is me in a way choosing my own mastermind of people to influence me and help me get to where I want to go. And I recommend you do the same. Because if I knew everything that I needed to know, then I'd already be where I want to be, and I'm not. Some of my more recent peers and their influences include Mortimer Adler, whose book on how to read a book has led me to learn how to read more actively and to digest a book and discover an author's purpose for writing. And when I approach a book in this way of what is the author trying to get at, one, there's multiple points. Two, I retain more and I understand what the author's trying to get at. And so I get more from the books. I write more notes. I learn more. And I chose this book for that reason. I wanted to become a more active learner. I wanted to read more, digest more, and I've started a community on Skool for a book club that anybody can join. It's completely free at the moment. I'll link it in the description. Adler talks about the 4 levels of reading, which I found very insightful, which are the elementary, which is stage 1, inspectional, analytical, and synoptical. Elementary is just reading words on a page. Inspectional is you're looking for something, trying to kind of see what it's about. Analytical is you're analyzing the author's work. What's he getting at? What lessons are in this book and the author's trying to teach? And the synoptical is kind of everything. It's taking what's in the book and applying it to the world in your own life and what you already know. And it's I've really enjoyed it, although it is a dense read. From Mark Manson's The Subtle Art, I chose this book because I wanted to rehash and reread the refreshing lessons of picking and choosing what I care about and why, and kind of reframing to focus on what's important in my life rather than just the non-essential BS. This is also my second read through. I read the book the first time in 2019 and it served me well then, so I wanted to bring it back and read it again. And I took notes this time so I could actually retain more and get more out of the book, and it's helped. And a couple points that I found really insightful and helpful to me is acknowledging death and understanding that when you have death in the forefront of your mind, or if you start your day with, this could be my last, or my time here is limited and impermanent, then I can live an active and purposeful life. I also enjoyed the idea of stop comparing and start working. The grass is greener where you water it. I found that very paradigm shifting, and you can look at people all day and be like, oh man, it's super nice over there, but everybody's got their own problems, and just start watering your own grass, start working, and you'll get everything you ever want. From David Goggins' second book, Never Finished. I picked this book up because I read the first one and I really liked it. His first book is much more of a memoir, and I picked it up because I was going into the service and I wanted to kind of, I guess, mentally toughen up. And I really, really enjoy David Goggins' works and what he's about and his message, and I've gotten a lot out of it. In this book, he hits on, you're always a work in progress. You're never finished. Every time you slow down, the bad stuff starts catching up. And I also learned that there's only progress in suffering. Essentially, you learn and grow through suffering. David Goggins also shifted my perspective on what is possible to withstand physically and mentally. The amount of suffering and pain and shit that he's gone through is just really mind-blowing, and it's admirable what he's accomplished in spite of how his life has played out. And he's also made me into a little bit of a longer distance runner, because running sucks, and running for a long period of time also sucks, like an hour, 2 hours. And granted, this guy runs for 24 plus hours sometimes. So these new ideas and perspectives have changed how I act and think fundamentally, whether it's stoicism or anything else I've learned through reading and acquiring new knowledge that I've applied to my life. It's changed me for the better. And this is just a taste of what books can do for you, which is why I recommend surrounding yourself with authors and books and content on social media. If you're going to use social media, just surround yourself with things that are going to better you and improve your mindset, your way of life, your thinking. When you surround yourself with toxic, anxious, stressful, fake people, then that essentially is part of what you are or will become. And I don't want that in my life, so I am going to surround myself with things that I filter through my moral lens as good and beneficial for me. Because I believe when you stop growing, you start dying. And on that somber note, I leave you. Thanks for watching.